Mark Ona Essangi is the founder of the environmental NGO Brain Forest, based in Libreville, Gabon. He joins us now. Thank you for joining us, Mark. In its report earlier this week, the IPCC, that is the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, warned that rising temperatures will push millions of people into poverty and famine in Africa. What do you make of this warning, Mark?
This is a real warning. It's the same speech we have been making for many years. With regard to the situation in Africa, I believe that Africa would be the biggest losers in this climate change debate. And yet, we have all the necessary means to move towards change in terms of managing climate issues. But also changes in the management of natural resources. But what do we see ourselves doing? We see that while Africans are in poverty and whilst they have nothing to eat, the desert is advancing. African leaders only concern themselves to cede African lands to multinationals from everywhere. And therefore, food security issues are not of concern to African leaders. Access to water and food are not of concern to them at all. What concerns them are interests and maintenance of power. Then we see the waste of natural resources that should ensure the standard of living of Africans is much higher.
Le gaspillage des ressources naturelles qui devrait faire en sorte que le niveau de vie des Africains soit beaucoup plus élevé.
Mark, I think we should first of all consider the consequences of climate change on the continent so far. What is the extent of the damage that's been caused by the rise in temperatures in Africa?
So when you look at Lake Chad, for example, it's disappearing completely, not only because of overexploitation, but also because there's a considerable advancement of the desert. You keep it in areas that are covered by the forest, such as Gabon, Congo, the forests of Congo Basin. The overexploitation of the forest resource is such that in perhaps 30 years we'll no longer even have forests. And when there is no forest, there's overheating. Therefore, we find ourselves in drought. So if there's a drought, there's a disappearance of water resources. And if there's a drought, there's no agriculture capable of feeding the African population, which is only increasing.
I mean, with all of this, what needs to be done to respond to this threat? And what can Africa do to overcome this threat and challenges with the climate change?
So what must be done is a rational management of our resources. For example, if we look at our forests, subsoil resources, and also the energy transition. Today, the focus is on fossil energy, and we also know that oil resources are reducing. What about the sun we have all over the African continent? What about all the rivers that can provide us with energy, for example? The energy transition is a decoy. It's a myth in Africa. And yet, we are the continent that is capable today of making this energy transition a success because we have all the resources outside oil. We have energy. But what do? Nothing at all.
Mais qu'est-ce qu'on en fait?